get into this, see what we can do. Should be fun. And my headset's going slightly dead, so I'm going to have to charge it. Oh lord, I'm terribly sorry about that. The webcam fell off the monitor. Everybody, let's get into this, alright? Okay. I'm tempted to do a new stream of the game and just like, well, not new stream, but like just another playthrough, just to see what we need to do, right? But for now, let's just continue going with this. You'll notice I have two knights, a white wizard and a black wizard. The reason why I still have the white wizard and black wizard is because for a long portion of the game, you're going to be keeping on to these guys. That and the other magic jobs aren't really worth it. Like, a conjurer is good, but it's very unpredictable. It's a lot of RNG with determining which summon you'll get, right? Bards are pretty much useless. Like, not really anything. It's kind of like Edward from Final Fantasy IV, yeah? The Geomancer is good for getting things like Odin and just doing farm, like, side quests. But for the most part, they're very unpredictable. Because you can either damage yourself a lot, or just get like something that doesn't even do anything or hurts your party. It's really weird. When I got the Odin materia, I used the Geomancer to help me get it. Let's see, what do I need to do now? Oh yeah, that's right, I need to find the City of the Ancients. I don't know what I'm doing back here, just bear with me. Might have been something I missed. Actually, no, I didn't. Those assholes were the ones that gave me the better ship. Okay, I need to somehow remember where the ancient ruins are. In fact, I'm gonna Google that real quick, because I can't remember off the top of my head.
One machine.
Okay, now I know where to go. Sorry, thanks again for bearing with me while I try to remember where the hell I'm supposed to go. I think I'm going the right way. There we are. Actually, I want to save before doing this. Oh well. Now, one thing I wanted to add, like, let's say, you see that arrow, this is where I would retreat, but the problem is, when you get attacked from the back, and you reorder your party, you're going to have to go back into the menu and do it again, so it's not really worth it. It's good in some cases, like if you have all melee, it really doesn't matter, and then you're just going to want them all in the front lines anyway. But, can't really think right now. But yeah, since the dragon zombie's kind of undead, restorative magic does double more effective. Life will kill, and cure will obviously do damage. Basically, you go through here to get your airship upgraded to where it can cross mountains. Now, another thing that this game has is skill points, or job points, whatever the hell it is. But basically, to increase those for melee, it's pretty easy. You just attack every turn. For mages, you want to use magic every round. Also, Arrow 2 can hit like a fucking train. But, to be fair, some of the black magic is probably the most useful, and this is one reason I almost don't prefer the Summoner. Is because the Summoner is unique in the fact that normally Titan, if you use it on a Conjurer, isn't really that good. Like, the best class comp for mages is always a Sage and a Summoner.
At Subaru.
And some of the enemies in here, I believe, are replicators. I can't remember for sure, but regardless, I think I'll hit him with a Golem. Golem Cane. Yeah, I have one knight that's got weaker weapons, so bear with him. All the weapons that I couldn't transfer over from my knight have been transferred over to the other one. Basically, the weapons I had on my knight, like on the first knight a while back, I just gave them to the secondary knight. Don't need to buy any of the armor here since it's all diamond. Also, there's no reason to ever use shields in this game. Now the knights will be on equal footing. Also, the ancient sword is next to no damage, but its unique effect is what makes it probably one of the most useful weapons in this game to a degree. Also, the feathers can only be equipped by either advanced mages or dexterity users, aside from the thief. So the hunter can use a feather, I believe, but so can the geomancer and the conjurer. Blood spears are good. There's not really a lot of uses for the blood sword in this game. Also, the ancient sword is good. It's one of the best items in the game, but it's not the best weapon. You can also get the same effect through mute. Ugh. You're borderline bad touch territory here, game. I didn't mean to do that. I'll just... Alright. The one thing I have to say about this game, and this is kind of a negative, really more of a complaint, it's just for like a good, like the first part of the game, you only have like up to maybe level 4 or 4 magic. And then once you get to the water world, you're learning levels 5 through 7 magic within minutes of each other. And then like you still have to wait until you can use 8th level, because at that point you had to switch jobs over to what is the upgrade of the white mage? I can't remember, but once you unlock the warlock, you can cast 8th level black magic. Oh, excuse me. Let's see, what's up here? Oh, of course, more enemies. Okay. At least for that. Break 2, by the way, is the most accurate death spell that we have. Oh shit, of course. Oh, that's a waste of a spell. These guys are splitters, so mute will negate that, since split technically counts as magic. Actually, it is magic, but still. Can you do a little bit more better crits on you? Oh yeah, the rune bell. I believe this is the weapon used by the geomancer. Screw it, I'll just throw life. Okay, those are weapons for the karateka. And around this area, really around this point of the game, that class starts to lose a lot of its usefulness and it starts to become a little weak. Knights you can actually use for the entirety of the game. It will start to become a little weak, of course, but they scale way better than the karateka. Now, as a skeleton, these guys are, of course, weak to fire. However, since I have 2 flame staves, or flame rods on my black wizard, the damage of fire is improved. In fact, let me check that. Yeah, flame rods will boost your flame damage. Let's see what's in here. Okay, that's another helmet, I believe, for the karateka. Okay. And if you guys had, and for some of you haven't played Final Fantasy 3, capacity is basically just what you use to change jobs. So let's say I wanted to go from a fighter to a ninja, then I would have to use like a certain amount of capacity points, and it's a lot because ninja is one of the later jobs. You get it, I think, either around the same time as the warlock or a little after. I can't remember. Oh, excuse me. Oh, shit. Another important thing in this game for at least melee fighters is they actually have to have a certain amount of dexterity every so often, because once you get around 30 to 31 dexterity, you gain an extra hit modifier. And my second road knight actually has more strength, but he's also level 29, so he's getting the extra modifier to his hit and his attacks. And the wall spell in this game is the reflect spell, but it also isn't at the same time. The wall spell basically just picks a random element and makes you resistant to it, which is both good and bad in some cases. In later stages of the game, it's one of those spells you never really use. Also, another thing to note, the life spell, even if you do use it on an undead target, it's not a 100% guarantee that it'll kill it. Break actually has a higher chance of actually killing a target if you use it no matter what. It's probably one of the highest chances of being of a death spell in the game. But that's another thing entirely, eh? Okay. Let's see. I think I'm going in the right place. Keyword is I think. Actually, I think I'm just going to use the haste spell. Also, the way the kill spell works is that it hits all targets, but if their level is like if they're lower level than you are, or if their level is within a coefficient of, I believe, 4, then it'll kill every target. If those parameters aren't met, then it won't work. Break is the only death spell that I believe that doesn't have like set parameters where like you have to be within a certain range. Now the North Wind, I have no idea what that item does. So just bear with me on that. I think I'm going the right way. I think these guys are also splitters. There's a point in this game where you come across this, like what a lot of people refer to affectionately as splitting headaches, and splitting mobs are just that. You have to either mute them or hit them with the ancient sword, and even then there's no guarantee that it'll even work, yeah? But main thing we have to figure out is if they are splitting, then well, they're actually, yep, they're splitters. Now, one thing I'd like to bring up with this game is that the most powerful black magic spell is Flare. In later games, like let's say Final Fantasy VI, for instance, even though I've never really played that one, I never really played Final Fantasy VI, so honestly I have no idea what the most powerful spells are. I would assume something like Meteo. But in later games, Thunder becomes the most powerful black magic spell until you get, like your 8th level spells. In the original Final Fantasy 1, it was actually Ice that was the most powerful until you got Nuke. Because it had the same damage coefficient of Ice, but it was a non-elemental damage. Warp is also an instant death spell, but it's just as unreliable. It's not very accurate. These guys aren't weak to fire, so that's something you had to take into account. But Break is an incredible, but at least Break level 2 is an incredibly accurate spell. But yeah, the best way of dealing with splitters, if you don't want to use the Ancient Sword, because it sells really well, is just use Mute. And it works literally just the same, since the Ancient Sword, I believe, is a silence. Or a stun. No, it's a stun. Again, I have no idea if I'm going the right way or not, but I think I am. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna have to cancel Mute on these things. Okay, so all of these guys are splitting. With dividing, how it works is every time you hit the enemy, it has a chance to split. But their health pool is copied, essentially, so it's easy to kill them, it's just a headache. I think I'm heading the right way. Of course, I want to run into a lot of these bastards. Yeah, if you kill them and it doesn't do fatal damage, then they're just going to keep dividing. Now, one thing to know about dividing enemies is magic attacks don't trigger the split. It's only physical attacks that do. Oh, these guys are awful. Yeah, if it does non-lethal damage, then it won't divide, then it will divide. The black hole spell pretty much essentially functions like the warp or the zap spell from Final Fantasy 1. Now, one thing to note about the Gaia spell, the Gaia robe, is that only the Geomancer can use it. The black robe, obviously only the Black Wizard can use it. This is where you get the level 7 spells. The Scar doesn't really have that much use in the game, sadly. It's kind of a... It's not really that good. And once you get the Earth Crystal, you can use the Warlock. And I plan on using that for the rest of the game. Yeah, I just went to them. I just gotta know. I just gotta remember where to go. Actually, there's a town that I want to go to. It's Svalgaverd. This ship's kind of... I don't know. Let's see, I think I need to go to the Cave of Shadows. So I have to go through. I have to go to Falgabird. Kind of figured that actually. Okay, so I have to find a way to get into the middle there. I'll head to Falgabird later. I apologize if I'm speeding up the battles. It's just these are incredibly easy and really tedious. And I personally like to show the grinding at least. Falcon Bird, if you've played Final Fantasy Tactics, it's a name that seems that'll probably sound familiar to you. It's a village of magic swordsmen, and I plan on heading there after. I've fought these guys, so I know just use mute. Oh. Alright, I think I'm gonna go out and get the ancient swords. Cave of the Darkness is, I believe, where you get the Earth Fang. An easy way to deal with them would be if Break 2 hit every single target, but that would be broken. But it'd be an easier way to deal with splitting and dividing enemies. But most of the enemies here are really weak, so it's not really that big of a deal. There's a Kotetsu. I don't think I can equip a Kotetsu though. It's about one of the few times that the Magic Knight's actually useful for anything. And contrary to how the name sounds, Magic Knights are unable to cast spells. That was a hella hit right there. Shit. For not having any armor and just having one weapon, god damn, that's powerful. It's like, holy shit, this thing is powerful as fuck. Because the Kotetsu's a magic weapon. Ignore the car outside. Play the Genji. Also, I'll just call the class the Samurai. Okay, that's about all for now. See you guys next time.